It's your time to fix it. Yeah.
This one. Now we go back to the seminar. And I won't mention a lot because he really picked it up.
Yes. Do you know what it means to go and start something new?
Let me tell you.
To go and say, now my lovely wife. To hug. Hey.
Whether it is hugging, whether it's a new style, whatever it is, there must be communication.
Yes.
And you need to see how to bring it up. Because if you have never hugged me, there's no way you are coming to hug me. We need to talk. Like in this seminar, unajua hii seminar tulikuwa huko walikuwa wanasema unavaa hug bibi anavaa hug mzee. What do you think about this hug? And do you think we can even try it to ona watu walikuwa wanasema aje? See how to bring it, but not just from the blues, otherwise you'll be divorced. You see, like people, there's this joke which sometimes was going around that women also went for a seminar somewhere and they were told exchange phones. The phone you have, just text the husband of that person, that woman, I love you, darling. Unaona wazee wanasema, what have you done now?
Ama unataka nini? What do you want?
Because he's not used.
Ama anajibu anasema, I don't have money today. I'm sorry, I don't have money today.
Hata anashindwa hii message ni yangu. Because he has never been called that. You have never texted him that. So any change needs communication as you come to introduce it, and also get the views of your spouse. How do they feel? How do they feel about it? And he was saying, like, amengonga watu wa kanisa. Anyway, what I want to say is, like, when you look at the church context, when it comes to relationships, it's quite silent, and we go by the Bible verse that the Bible says, wives, you need to submit to your husband. Husbands, you need to love your wives, and it ends there. One day I was having a conversation with with a friend who is a pastor, and I was asking him, now, Bwana Bishop, if tomorrow a man comes to you, unajua wako na hizo siku wanaeka za service, za kuona mtu peke yake mashida, mwenye ako na mashida private. So somebody walks to your office and says, you know what, Bishop, for the last 1 month, or for the last 2 to 3 months, kwangu sipati conjugal rights. My wife amekataa completely. Mzee wangu hata aninguzi kabisa. So I asked that pastor, where do you start with that? Will you start kutafuta wa Korintho wanasema nini, ama Romans chapter Genesis walisema nini? Hautapata. It is not there. You get it. So sometimes, like Dr. is saying, it's not just a matter of opening the book, whatever it is in DSM-5 or it is the Bible, pick just some writings there and you start applying them. We need the context, live about the content, but also the context of that. Because when it comes to issues to do with relationships, it's quite a big issue. Na hapa unapata pia pastor wanapata shida. Because imagine sasa daktari hapa ni mchungaji. And then this wife comes and they start crying how dry spell hiko, mzee ni nguzi ni. How you not changing this man of God? Because
pastor anaona hii kinyaija.
Anashindwa. Sini undumie roho na mwili yote pamoja.
Nishugulike, lazima sijali, niko na dawa.
Useme na tumsifu Yesu Kristo njoo umemundumia ile wholesome.
Yes, all cell,
you see. So again, how do we handle these issues? If you are a church leader, if you are the pastor, how do you handle these sensitive matters to do with relationship? Is it just unajua Waefeso inasema Waefeso is not helping?
Hakuna maneno ya Waefeso hapo. Kwanza mademo siku hizi hii makanisa papa and mama. Ukimkatia kama beni anaanza kuambia I need to go and talk to papa first.
I need to go.
Hii story iliingia ilianza. The pastor. Pastor anaingilia hapo maneno ya kukatia.
Bibi anakimbia anaenda anaambia pastor, nataka maombi. Shetani alikuja kwangu yeye mwenyewe hakutumana. And the person unajua akisikia hiyo ndio anaketi vizuri,
anajua it's about to get interested.
Anaambia pasa hakutumana. And why do you think, what do you think this wife is reporting? Msenjana alikuja na ka video hiyo, sijui wanaita pornography. Hata pasa nimekuja na hako ka video, nataka tuikemee.
Tuiangalie tukiombea
na tuiombea,
wanaangalia na bibi yako
sasa wanaiangalia. How do you think it will end? Sasa hapa tunakemea pasa,
it will end with a testimony.
Of course.
Sasa naiangalia as evidence. Evidential value.
All right, guys,
entertainment.
there's something I want to, before Ojwang, I don't want to give it to Ojwang this one first to mess it up. So I'll give it to you first, then Ojwang can now mess it up, then we see how we can rescue it. The issue of unaccepted grief, you know, in the society, are things that society expects you to deal with. Kuna vitu ambayo inafaa useme. Unajua zingine bibi anakuja amekasirika, na hujapiga na kelele. Unashindwa na nini? Kumbe amekosana na boyfriend yake. Anakuja anakuleta so how deal with these things. Ama bwana amekuja amejam nini kumbe amekosana na mpango wa kando. So how do we deal with these things? Sasa ndio umekosana na girlfriend yako kwa nje, unaendaje nyumbani unakaa?
Sasa hapo bitalk, wacha nianze ndio.
Yes, ndio achafu. Alafu rudi na usafishe.
Unajua hiyo ataharibu kabisa. I want to, if you allow me, I just need to bring about 3 scenarios.
Yes.
Then sasa Ojwang achafue. Tunajua hiyo ndo kasi yake. The first scenario, tuko kwa mpango ya kando. We have this gentleman who has a mpango wa kando nje pale.
Yes.
And you know, sometimes what people tend to, I don't know whether ni justification ama ni defense mechanism, people tend to think in any relationship mwanaume ako nayo pale nje, there is no love. Yeah. Ni tu is just using that lady. But to me, I want to say there are some relationship out there where that man may be even more comfortable.
And happier.
Nisirushiwe mawe, sisemi wanaume waende nje, maybe comfortable.
Easily board ni achuma
out there. Unaweza pata mwanaume anapenda ule mrembo wa kule nje, si ati ampendi, si ati anamtumia, but anampenda. So it happens mrembo hagen dunia. How does this man, or how will this man mourn this lady? Ataenda kwake kusema nani alikufa. Take for example, kuna wanaume wako na watoto kule nje.
Yes.
Bibi anjui, lakini unapata hata mandugu zake wananjua ako na mtoto.
Unasikia mtoto ni mgonjwa.
Na ule mtoto kule nje ananjua huyu ni babangu. Hata weekend anakuja anapeleka mtoto out, anasomesha huyu mtoto. Na mtoto ananjua ndadi yangu ni fulani.
Ni Ojwang.
Then this kid dies. Ni wa mpango wa kando?
Ama ni mgonjwa.
Twende kwa kifo. Dies. Huyu mwanaume kama baba huyu mtoto ako supposed kuwa fully involved kwa planning and arrangements ya burial ya huyu mtoto. Hata akienda kwake atalia mtoto amekufa na watoto wa bibi wako wote.
Wote wamejaa, hakuna mtu amekufa.
How will this man mourn this kid? Tuachane na mwanaume na mpango wa kando. There are men who date other men's wives. Ukweli ama uongo?
Kweli.
Kuna wanaume wako na mahusiano na mabibia wenyewe. And sometimes unapata huyu mwanaume, wewe utaweza fikiria ni mjinga, but anapenda ule mwanamke. That woman dies. Kule kwa chukua mapasta na wafanyabiashara wananjua bwana ya huyu mbibi ni bitok. Ojwang anakuja.
So mimi nalia hata Ojwang analia.
Hata anakuja kulilia wa. Asipolilia huko kwa fence.
Tumie technical people as examples. Let's make use of the technical team bench.
We can use this one. We can use because you are visible. We can use it.
There are men who go to an extent.
Person X. Yeah.
Or having a child with that married woman. Na sangine bibi wiba huyu mtoto weekend anapeleka. Mtoto anjui huyu ni baba anajua ni yango yake. But mwanaume ako na attachment na huyu mtoto. Alafu bibi yake ama wakosane na huyu mwanamke. Na kule kuna mtoto sasa uwezi enda kwa ndo unapata mashamba tu mzee twingine tunalewa tunakuja kutukanana kwa gate ya mtu kila siku tukipita tumlebe njoo anajua hiyo mboma kuna mtoto wake
wasengenge
na hawezi ruhusiwa kuona huyo mtoto. So the question here is all this lady akona boyfriend wanapendana sana na ni bwana ya mtu. Then this man dies. How does this even lady go kwa hiyo mazishi? Na unajua Kiafrika mpaka uweke mchanga kwa kaburi ndio kusema kwa heri and you put a disclosure to that. Na ukinipata nikilia unasema na wewe ulikuwa unaulizana nini na mzee ya watu?
Unalilia nini?
Si huyo ni bibi ya mtu, wewe unalilia nini? But now where I'm coming in as a clinical psychologist, this thing is affecting this person. This person has lost somebody close to them, someone dear to them. Huyu mwanaume amepoteza mtoto, yeye ameifiwa na mtoto. Watoto wa bibi wako hawezi enda kwake kusema kuna mtoto amekufa. But this
naweza sema analia nini? Ama anapanguzia machozi kwa mlango.
Naweza sema analia nini? Akiwa huko hata simu anapigiwa, sasa mwili ilipelekwa mochari, atasema mwili ya nani? So, ametulia tu hapa. How does he even mourn this death? And does the society allow such a person to mourn? Ama anaanza kukashifiwa sasa, wewe unaenda aje kuusaa mtoto na bibi ya mtu? Bibi ya mtu ulikuwa unaulizana naye. Wewe unjuangi huyu mwanaume ni bwana ya mtu? But the fact remains, yes, ni sawa ni bwana ya mtu, but I'm mourning. I've lost somebody very close and very dear to me. So how are you telling me not to mourn?
Let's talk about mpango wa kando wasichana pia. Sema wewe una date bwana ya mtu. Alafu usikie kesho labda amevunjika mguu.
Ako hospitali.
Ama nini. How do you deal with this?
How then do you
unakuja unapata bibi hapo, unakuja kwa asongi hapo tu kando ya kitanda.
Na mimi nataka kumuona. Nimeleta ile chocolate ya daktari. Nataka kumuona and the wife is there. But I'm worried. Mtu wangu bwana, my sweetheart. Mguu imeanikwa huko na siwezi ingia kumuona.
Because Ojwang is very deep thought.
Such a thing now comes with depression because I never mourned for this person. Nikipita najua mwanaume anajua mtoto wangu wako kwa ile mboma. Wewe enda kuclaim mtoto kwa mboma ya mwanaume mwingine. Na hata ule anjui mtoto si wake. You see now such a situation, they'll affect people. Community will throw stones at you, will condemn you, but the fact remains I've lost someone close to me and I'm mourning. Acha Ojwang achafue.
Ojwang, I can see you are in a lot of thoughts. Is it affecting you?
No, well, what you guys are discussing is very important, but very remote. Chances of those things happening.
But do they happen?
It might happen, just like chances of us being hit by lightning now are there, but very remote. You know, I think even in my psychology,
They're not remote. I have an experience of someone, a lady who lost someone's husband. And now she has to mourn. She cannot go to the burial. She needs disclosure as well. So
I'm interested in usually what we call not universalization, but relativism. Because I've seen, for example, in Western Kenya, there's no issue there. Because in my culture, everybody who come to mourn, even if you know they are the ones who kill the person, you have no right to tell them they cannot mourn, because we have great and inclusive mourning mechanism in my community. It is very. In fact, you can even stop by when people are mourning. You don't know this person and mourn.
Just come and scream.
Yes. If you have a lot of stress and you mourn, you remember your loved ones, but you mourn seeing the body so that people don't think you are crazy. All right, and that's because I was asking.
So if you are stressed, you look for the nearest body.
No, I was asking somebody how are you able to there's one we went and this person was not the closest relative, but he outdid everybody by crying. And he told me, by the way, I was just remembering also my mom who had died. So I was mourning for two. Those are very healthy coping mechanisms because there is denial. The stages of mourning, right? And that's what she's saying, that if you didn't go through those stages of mourning, acceptance, denial, anger, and all that, and you didn't walk them, they will affect you. So I don't think those problems happen in central Kenya, where you find somebody have even grandchildren, but the family does not know, right? But if you come to Western, those are very small problems. In most of the Western Kenya funerals, you find some suspicious people. Is it true, Jemo? And they are usually called to speak. Of course, it's true, Jemo is lying here. You find in most of the Western Kenya funeral, the people around the coffin are not just cousins, aunts, or people who look like they bereaved. There are some suspicious people there. And usually the mass of ceremony is very good. Are there friends? And they take long around that. Are there any friends? Yeah, Jemo, I'll miss you, Jemo. It's fine. It's permissible. So we have very inclusive funerals. I don't think there will be a problem in those regions I'm coming from. In fact, we have rainbow funeral. You find dark people by the coffin. You find lighter people by the coffin. You find people you can put question mark. Or this was one time my boss. But let me say something. And you find he or she has friends bringing them up. So those are not big deals. But when you go to other cultures where things are hidden, that's the reality. Just because it has not been written in books, don't think I'm not just. These are not things I Google from internet. I'm talking of my intuitive mind, and as a psychologist who have also read psychology, you go to places like Central where people hide. And that's why I was saying somebody has even grandchildren in this relationship, but nobody knows. Very different from my place where somebody forces this sitting and say, prepare. You are going to meet your sister-in-law, or I'm bringing the children. Like in Western, you can't deny children. So let us talk in particularity. That will be a problem then in those places, because there is the strong push of is an husband to one wife, and we force that narrative. Right? We want to force that narrative even where it does not fit, and that's why we have court injunctions and we have messy burials. But when you have inclusive burials, I mean, everybody who come here, you know, when I buried my father, I thought I would be put to sitting by the front side. Everybody will be talking, looking at me. I realize I'm just one of the mourners here, boy. I mean, nobody refers me in every sentence to the family. In fact, I was so much seated in front, somebody told me, no, go to the back. Kidogo. Yes.
You became a relegated
mourner. It was a reality. It really hit me. That this guy, my father, had his cousins who are coming on their own rights as cousins, not because of family or through family to the first family. No, they are mourning their cousins. Had in-laws who are coming as in-laws, period. Had children who are also like us, who are coming because we are children. Had wives who are coming as had colleagues, had workmates, had his best friends. And each and every person have a role. So this, and that's why I'm talking of culture. This Western view where the focus is not in the coffin, it's in the first family, whatever that means. Or to the first family. So, of course, so the Mpango Kano is missing being called the first family. But those are empty focus. Those are artificial focus. This person has died. He has all this relationship. He was a living organism who made friends, enemies, who had all these friends. Their friends are coming to mourn. That's why I'm thinking the problem we are solving is a little bit academic.
Yeah. Hi. Ojwang, even I'm not saying you have one, but if you have a girlfriend, and you have to go home and you're upset and you're angry, how do you deal with it?
I don't understand the question, and I don't see the value of that question, because why does it have to be a girlfriend? Let's just say even my boss is stressing me.
Yes.
Should I take that to the home? Isn't it? It's the same thing. So how much do you have a barrier between your stressor and any other challenge as an individual? You see, for example, in my family, my wife really get upset when she realized that I was going through a difficult time and didn't share. She feels that is lack of trust. I'm thinking I'm being careful and protecting her. Right?
Mama,
yes. Yeah. But because I feel that I imagine that I'm maybe tougher. I imagine that maybe I can take more, and so I don't want to load that stress. But for her, she feels like that is mistrust. I'm here to support you, and we need to support each other. So there is the balance there. And so I'm not just talking of whether it is the stress from whatever, mpango, whatever. That is not really the point. I'm saying that is there a place where I'm going through a hard time at home, at work? Do I have to always sit my wife and tell her, baby, that boss is on it again? Or I swallow it and say, this is my stress. I don't want to transfer to people who love me and then stress them further. So sometimes it is protection out of love. But I don't think that, a human, an organism, there are two approaches. There are people who, and we are told, let your spouse be your best friend. And I agree with that. But I think that also marriage is so complicated that you cannot expect your wife to again be your pastor. It has its own stress. You cannot expect your wife to be, those are all served by many people. Have friends. There's nothing wrong with having friends, confidence, have marriage, have kids. Everybody is functioning in their own place, and it is for all of us. So me, I encourage my wife to have very close friends, that she can feel free to go and talk about me. Because if I'm the problem, I don't expect you to talk about me, and that is unfair. If I'm all over your face every time that you cannot talk, yes, talk to me, but also have friends that you can say, you know, this big-headed guy, I felt like killing, but Holy Spirit caught up with me. That is healthy coping mechanism. So there's that balance, but I think sometimes we narrow and bring into the marriage of the spouse every other problem. I think there is diversification. I think there is different help from different angle, but I don't see anything unique. If you have a stress that maybe you say this one, I don't know what to do with it. Is there a place where if this person lost somebody, let's say that child, that you cannot show up? Because then we are now answering a smaller question. The real question is, if this is your child, are you in their life? Because people live before they die, I assume. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe they die first. But I assume that usually people are alive first before they die. And I also assume that they are alive for a longer time before they die. So then, the issue is not how are you hiding, mourning this child. The issue is, have you been genuine? Have you been a real father to this child? Because this is a human being. This is a living organism. If you are hiding them as a chattel or a thing, then are you being fair? If your family don't know them, if you cannot talk and reach this child, are you guys living a lie? And is that fair? Again, I finish by saying that parenting and parentage and child upbringing in Africa, I come from the school of thought of it takes a village. It is not just biological. I don't think it is so much biological, it is social. And so, don't feel bad to go to a funeral where people ask you, by the way, how do you come here? How do you come here? I think that is very, 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 very narrow. If now be talk, you called me and told me, Ojwang, can you take me to mourn my friend? I will go. I don't know this friend, but I will stand at the coffin and pray, isn't it? Am I pretending?
Or try to cry.
Am I pretending? No. I'm not pretending. I'm just here in that capacity and in that context that a sad thing has happened. What is so unique? Must I write a CV on how I relate with the bereaved? I think that's too artificial.
I tell you.
Emily,
let me say that, people are unique. And there are people who are secretive. There are people who feel because of some certain situation, they may not come forward and they say, look here, I have these people here, or I have this family here. But the key issue here is getting a way round on how to handle your distress, how to handle that mourning for it not to affect you in future. And as Ojwang was talking, I remembered people hired somebody they found somewhere wa matatu wawapeleke mbari or somewhere. Na wakamwambia hii hata ikai tegea hapa uturudishe. I know that this guy akakaa kwa matatu akaona si hata mimi ni binadamu. Acha nichanganyike na the other mourners. Yes. Sasa ile mwili ilitolewa, this guy screamed, alilia mpaka yani anapewa tissue. So when he cooled down, somebody asked, one of the mourners asked, na ni nani kwako?
Sorry for your loss.
Yes, sorry for, alikuwa nani kwako? Akasema hata simjui. Hata yeye anauza nani alikuwa amekufa huko. So you see it's what Ojwang is saying, because and when he was followed, it's like when his mother died, they were not in good terms with the mother, and the mother kept on calling for him to come, and he never went to see the mother, and the mother died. So you see he was left with that guilty. So he never dealt with that guilty. So to him in this burial, he got a chance to mourn.
To revisit his mourning.
To revisit his mourning. And I like the Western culture. If you can go and finish your unfinished business in someone else's burial, then well and good. The issue is having it, carrying it day and day out. Ndio unaanza kusikia mtu akisema unajua jana hata niliona fulani na fulani alikufa 5 years ago. Hata alikuja akaniambia, and people wanaanza kutafuta vile utaombewa. thinking unaanza kuona mashetani, but it's because you have unfinished business na kifo ya huyo mtu.
Unfinished emotional business.
Yeah.
All right.
Unfinished baggage.
Give me your final remarks as we funga.
We have talked quite from politicians where Ojwang felt that we should not empathize with them. And that is a crime to empathize.
For that point, he was not the devil's advocate.
For that one, alikuwa mkali sana.
For a minute.
Yeah, but to me, I'll still say, together with their corruption and whatever they are doing, together with the BBI, whatever they are doing, they also have mental health issues, and it's good to take care of their well-being. We have also looked at issues to do with celebrities and issues to do with the relationship. The key issue here is creating awareness towards mental health, because when you look at it, there's that huge gap when it comes to people being aware on mental health issues. Somebody is going to depression and they have got no slightest idea what this is. So again, and also watching your close people. If you see somebody has started distancing themselves, they're just there. You call them, you look for them. Every time I want to be left alone. Every time I want to be left out. It's also good to look out for each other and see if somebody starts behaving in a way they never used to behave, then it's always good to check and say, are you okay? When it comes to relationship issues, as Ojwang was saying, we are all different. We have been cultured different. We have been brought up different. Don't copy other people's relationship, other people's way of expressing love. Just be you. Understand your partner, and work what works for your partner and what works for you, not what you have seen other people doing. Otherwise, I'll say thank you so much for having me on board.
Most welcome.
I've really enjoyed myself, and especially
Ojwang.
Yeah.
It's never boring. It's never a dull day. It's never a dull day. All right, good to see you. Welcome again. Karibu tena anytime. We'll be having these conversations weekly, so that we can make it a better place. Najua kuna topic moja tumeacha, maybe we'll pick it up next week.
Thank you.
Ojwang.
Yeah, the only thing that made sense for me in my class was a topic called wellness. And it was how different culture define wellness. You know, for an African, until you see me in the hospital, I am well. All right? So that's our definition of wellness, is that I'm sick, I'm infirmed, I'm in the hospital, then I'm not well. I think there is the better definition in my view, because you see, there's nothing wrong with borrowing and adopting what is important. When you find how people from Western define wellness, it is broader. And it allows them to go for evaluations. It allows them to go for checks. It allows them to talk and confirm that things are okay. You don't just go there when everything has fallen apart. So go early intervention. I also think that the issue of mental health is very important. In fact, as I discussed with a lot of colleagues, we realized, oh my goodness, so that person we thought was this and this kind of a person was really sick and needed help or just understanding. So, you know, let us not fail to empathize and understand that it is real. It is just as real as the ground we walk in. People have different mental health issues. Some are temporary. It's not the issue of stigma. Let's not judge.
Yes.
Because that is what makes people afraid. I come from a view that when I look at the mental health evolution in the US, where they moved from institutionalization of mental patients, lobotomy, and all those where they were turning them to zombies. They have accepted that they need to cope and live with people. Let us be watchful, and let us always look out for each other. Because finally, as I finish, I think that when we talk of mental health, it is very comprehensive. We even have behaviors, we have drugs, we have difficult time, especially this difficult time like now. Cut each other slack. To me, I think that is very important. Let us learn to cut each other slack, to excuse each other. You have disappointed me, but I'll give you the benefit of doubt. Let us be not very tough with each other, because people are going through very difficult time with this COVID. And therefore, let us just cut each other slack, give each other benefit of doubt, and let us ask, are you okay? And you see, that are you okay be not just for greeting. Hey, sasa, niaje? You know, before, it is, are you okay? And don't just accept yes or no. Demand for an answer beyond, are you okay? Sio ile ya kupita yes, no. Demand for an answer beyond yes. Where are you at this time? With all what is going on? Where are you? Try to find each other and try to find where this person is mentally, physically, psychologically, socially. Especially at this time. That is what it means to check on each other. It's not just calling and then you come with all your BBI story for 30 minutes. Before I know I was depressed, yes, I might laugh a little, then I go back to my depression. Really find out where I am. Try help each other. You know, I like what Africans say. There's a community that says, I am okay if you are okay. Meaning, nobody's okay if others are not okay, especially people close to you. Find out. Be with them there. You might not have the right word to say. I've done diagnosis or looking at the suicide level, for example. When now somebody have a concrete plan, you know, it has come from just thought to I actually want to do it and this is how I want to do it. You know, that is very late stage or very serious stage of suicide. Let us, you know, as Kenyans and Africans, we like to laugh and make comedy out of things. But even as you do that, find each other help. Go to church, find a counselor. But again, not everything is a mental health situation. Some are just thieves. Politicians are just stealing, bwana. Hapo hakuna mental health. That is the danger of rigging mental health on everything. Sometimes I think we overgeneralize. Asante.
All right. So does that,
Bitok, allow me to say this. It just crossed my mind as Ojwang was saying. You know, there is the greeting. How are you? If anybody asks you, how are you? How will you say, I'm fine? By
default.
But the question here is, are you really fine? So to me, I think it's the high time to answer kuchange hii salamu. If you ask me, how are you, and I'm not okay, let me not say I'm fine for the sake of hii salamu inajibiwa hivyo. If you are not okay, kindly talk to somebody. Don't suffer in silence. Talk to someone. Open to someone and you get help. Rather than committing suicide or going to kill someone else. Let us talk to each other. Open up and you'll get help.
All right. Thank you so much. And the guys who have been watching, thank you so much for joining us. Thank you so much our guest Mutheu and Ojwang. Asante sana kwa kuja kutuambia kumbe ulikuwa uko professor wa mambo ya akili pale America na madili na wazungu. Thank you so much. We really appreciate you guys. Thank you so much for joining us and being with us. This is a tackle, and the tackle ends now. If we see you again tomorrow. Bye bye.